Hi students, welcome back. Coming to the next topic is so far we had seen the introduction part of the routing protocols and what are the design issues that you are facing in the routing protocols. Now let's see the classification of routing protocols, means what are the different routing protocols are there. So how you are going to find the routing for each protocol. So let's see. So in this video I want to just give the introduction part of the classification of routing protocols. So just like a MAC classifications, whatever the classifications of MAC you have learned, in the same way for this routing protocols or the different classifications are there. The routing protocol can be broadly classified into 4 categories. So you have to remember these 4 categories. The routing protocols can be broadly classified into 4 categories. One is based on routing information update mechanism. Routing information update mechanism. So this first classification is dealing with the routing information update mechanism. So whatever the routing information is there, that has to be updated frequently. And the second classification is deal with based on the use of temporal information for routing. So there is a need for the temporal information for the routing. It's a temporary path that will be maintained by the second classification. It is based on the use of temporal information of routing. And the third one is the routing topology. So what are the different routing topologies that will be discussed in this third classification. And the fourth classification is based on utilization of specific resources. So whatever the topology that you are taken, so how the utilization of the specific resource will be on different topologies. So these are the complete classic protocols are divided into 4 classification. Some protocols will deal with the routing information update mechanism. Some will deals with the use of temporal information for routing. And the third is used, some used for the routing topologies, and some will use for the utilization of specific resources. Means they are the concentrating on those things. Now let's see. Before going enter into the each routing protocols, let's see the first one. Based on the routing information update mechanisms, what you're going to do in that classification. So what this classification is explaining. Now let's see. The first one, based on the routing information update mechanism. So this you call it as a proactive or table driven routing protocols. This routing information update mechanism is divided into 3. I think it is 3. So one is the proactive, another is the reactive, and next is the hybrid. So based on the routing information update mechanism is divided into proactive, reactive, and hybrid. So I'm talking about the first one. Okay, so don't be confused, just take it as step by step. Let's talk with the only the introduction part of all the basic routing protocols. Okay, in this video I'll just give the basic information about all the routing protocols. In the next video I'll take each and every protocol, the proactive, what are the different proactive protocols, different reactive protocols, different hybrid, like that. Okay, so the first routing protocol classification is based on routing information update mechanism. It is the different examples for this is proactive. The proactive is also called as a table driven routing protocol. Just remember, the proactive and the table driven both are the same. The proactive or table driven routing protocol maintain routing information for the routing table. So first it maintains the routing information in the routing table. So one routing table it is maintained. So in that table everything relating to the packet transformation, means which node it is going, from where it is coming. So every information will be stored in the routing table. The routing information is flooded in the whole network. So that information has to be passed to each and every node, not only from the path, it has to be flooded to whole network. And this proactive runs path finding algorithm with routing table. It's just finding the path finding algorithm with routing table. So with the help of the routing table, it is finding the routing path. So that is a proactive, the table driven. What this table driven is doing, the first it maintaining the routing information in the table. Okay, So this routing information has to be maintained in a way that the whole network has to be know that. So each and every node will be finding out which from where the data is getting, from where it is going. And next, the runs path finding algorithm with routing table. We have to find the best path in that. That is a proactive. Next one is a reactive. The reactive is also called as an on-demand routing protocol. So the name itself is saying it is an on-demand. Reactive. It is reacting. It obtaining the necessary path while required. So whenever it requires, so that path it is selecting only the required path, obtain the necessary path while required. And the third one in this that is a hybrid routing protocol. So in the hybrid routing protocol is both the combination of reactive and the proactive, means the table driven and the on demand. So if the zone of the given node is, suppose in the zone of the given node means if it is present within the range, means in the zone of given node, then use the table driven. Suppose the routing is out of the zone of the given node. Out of the zone of given node means use demand, on demand. So the hybrid routing protocol is a combination of table driven and the on demand. So based on the, suppose the routing information, the nodes or given node is in the zone means use the table driven. If the given node is out of the zone means use on demand. Now coming to the second one. So what is the second one? The second classification is based on use of temporal information for routing. So based on the temporal usage of, based on the use of temporal information routing, there is using past temporal information. Here the three techniques will be there. Uses the past temporal information. Routing protocol that uses the future temporal information. Okay. So, and the node lifetime is also included. So this temporal information for routing is maintaining three types of information. So one is a past temporal information. Based on that past temporal information, the path will be selecting, and the routing protocol uses the future temporal information. Okay, so now let's see that using the past temporal information. The past status of the links or the status of the link at time for routing. So they have to consider the past temporal information while the links are selecting. That is one way. And another way is routing the protocols that use a future temporal information. So the expected future status of the links to make decisions. So this is a trial and error. We have to be expected. Okay, it will go like this only. So in that way you have to be estimate and you have to select the path. And the next is the node lifetime is also included. That is the remaining battery life, prediction of location and link availability. So that also to be considered. Okay, these are all the temporal informations, not the permanent. Okay, temporal. So whenever there is an active, in that active nodes only, the node lifetime is included, and that node future information, and then that node the past information, that everything will deal in this classification based on the use of temporal information for routing. And the third one is based on routing topology. So some protocols is completely based on the routing topology. Here the internet uses a hierarchical routing topology in order to reduce the state information maintained at the core routers. So here whatever the internet that we are using, that uses a hierarchical routing topology. So why it is using hierarchical routing topology? Because in order to reduce the state information maintained at the core routers. So this based on routing topology, there is a flat topology. The different examples for this routing topology is flat topology routing protocol and the hierarchical topology routing protocol. So in the flat routing topology routing protocol, what you are going to do? It uses the flat addressing scheme similar to IEEE 802.3 LANs and globally unique addressing mechanisms for nodes. So here the flat topology is using the flat addressing scheme and globally unique addressing mechanism for the nodes. Then what about the hierarchical topology? The hierarchical topology routing protocols deals with the make use of the logical hierarchical in the network and an associate addressing schemes are there. and it could be based on geographical information, or it could be based on the hop distance. So the hierarchical topology routing protocol is concentrating on, it could be based on the geographical information, or it could be on the hop distance, or it make use of logical hierarchical in the network, and an associate addressing schemes has to be used. Now coming to the last classification, that is completely based on the utilization of the specific resource. So the utilization of specific resource is only concentrating on the power aware routing and the geographical information assisted routing. The power aware routing aims at minimizing the battery power. Routing decisions are completely based on either globally or locally. So this is the utilization of specific resource is also the important thing. So what the protocol that we use for this is power aware routing. It aims at minimizing the battery power routing decisions which are based completely on globally or locally. And the next one is the geographical information assisted routing. So it reduces the control overhead by effectively utilizing the geographically information available. So these are the different classifications of routing protocols based on their utilization of specific resource, based on their routing topology information, and based on their use of temporal information for routing, and based on their routing information update mechanisms. So in the next video, we will take one by one. So in each and every classification, there are different routing protocols out there. That is a proactive, reactive, hybrid, and like that. Thank you.